get it, cause people's experience different. Check the prejudice at the door. Speak the mind, you get the flow. Tell the truth if it's sweet or sour, cause the hour we spitting that fire.
Hey everyone, this is Spittin' Fire coming to you with another one. Okay, so y'all remember Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, Kendall and Kylie's father, ex-husband of Chris, stepfather of Courtney, Chloe, and Kim, and Rob, ex-father or baby daddy-in-law of Black China, whatever. Anyway, um, well, she was over Good Morning Australia. She was over in Australia, honey, when she found out on the news that Keeping Up with the Kardashians will not be returning. This is the last season of 2021. The share would have been aired 15 seasons by then. And she didn't know. Now, it was rumored that they were supposed to stop it 2, 3 years ago. Every year after that, they kept renewing it another year, renewing it another year, renewing it the other year. Well, they have finally decided to hang it up. And Caitlyn just found out through the news. You would think, as family, she would have knew first, being the father of the two girls with Chris, but unfortunately, left in the loop. Alrighty. So let's go move on to Jam Master Jay. Jam Master Jay has been dead almost 19 years, and of course, he was gunned down in his studio. Okay, we know about this great icon pioneer. That was one of thirds of the Run DMC trio. Okay, one of the best DJs out there. Okay, and he was greatly missed. However, he was gunned down in his studio, and there were assailants, okay, that was said to be have captured in the connection with his murder. One of them was already behind bars, and the other person, well, the police is investigating very closely, and they think an arrest has been made. Now, updates has not been yet posted on Spittin' Fire, but I definitely will bring them to you. If they're out there already, well, sorry, Spittin' Fire is late on bringing you this news because this news was over a month old, but there was so much happening in these YouTube streets. And with the corona and everything, it was just hard to bring about the news. However, we are so glad that they have a person of interest or whatever, and hopefully the evidence proves that this person, will show whether they're innocent or guilty, and they will have their day in court. And if they did it, they have to pay the price. If they didn't do it, then they have prevailed. Okay, so I hope that the person who's responsible for his death be brought to justice. According to the Shade Room, okay, this is the Shade Room, and this is by Christina Calloway again, September the 10th, okay, and it says Breonna Taylor case to go before a grand jury, Kentucky. AG expected to make announcements about Attorney General indictments following jury's findings. Okay, so let's see about this, and let's read this what TSR had to say, updates on this situation here. And and I'm going to talk a little bit more about. I'm gonna give a little bit more commentary after I read this article. Okay. All right. After I read this article, I'm gonna give a little bit more commentary. But let's get it going. It says TSR update. Despite the fact that it has been nearly 6 months since the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor and no arrest has been made, the Kentucky Attorney General is reported planning to present evidence from the shooting to a grand jury as early as next week. Okay, the case will be presented before a grand jury in Louisville at the undisclosed location. NBC News reports, giving some hope of the tens of thousands of people who have been relentlessly calling for justice in Breonna's name. This could mean indictment for the three officers who broke into her apartment with a no-knock warrant and gunned her down. Okay. Once the grand jury makes a decision, Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron is expected to make a public announcement to share his office's investigative findings and the grand jury's decisions on possible indictment for those officers, one of whom has since been terminated for blindly firing 10 rounds into Breonna's apartment. In order to indict any of the three officers who fired shots on the night of Breonna's death, 9 jurors must decide that there is sufficient evidence to believe a crime was committed, according to the source who is familiar with a process in Kentucky. When the investigator concludes and a decision has been made, we will provide an update about the announcement, Cameron said in a statement. The news will come from our office and no unknown sources until the time the investigation remains ongoing. But protesters don't have a lot of faith in the Republican Attorney General, who's criticized for allegedly having an engagement party during the civil unrest in his state. Okay. Supporters of Breonna and her family feel the officer should have been arrested shortly after the shooting, as the target of their drug probe did not live at Breonna's home. We'll keep you posted on any updates, said the Shade Room, okay? We'll keep you posted there, keep you posted on any updates on that. So I'm going to get commentary shortly after. All right. Okay, so I had a conversation with my former co-host about the attorney generals and prosecutors on indictments a while ago. And this is about maybe a couple years ago, and I was explaining to her the process of the indictments and how they go. And I was also explaining to her that sometimes the indictments are not to bring charge on a defendant, but also sometimes it's to clear people of these charges when they really don't want to bring charges up on a person. In other words, if in the case of a situation with a known celebrity like R. Kelly, they went and brought all these evidence to a grand jury to say, hey, look, we got X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. We just think that this man is capable of A, B, C, and we want him to be indicted on this, this, this. And the jury is only one-sided, and they say, okay, well, you have probable cause to indict, so, and stuff like that, the investigation, the warrant, and everything else. So they go about doing that. But also, there's a flip side to that, okay? And a lot of times people don't know the flip side to that. And this is the thing that I've always told you, blades that cut both ways. So when a prosecutor go in front of a grand jury in the sense of an officer, okay, being arrested or bringing about a charge, they can also bring in front of a grand jury lack of evidence, lack of. In other words, we don't have enough A, B, and C to indict. We don't have X, Y, Z enough to indict. We don't really think there's probable cause. However, people in the communities thinking A, B, C, D. Do you think? And then people can come back and say, well, no, there's no enough evidence. You understand what I'm saying? Indictments can usually mean to protect the public in a way to where they can bring evidence that they have to bring about arrest. But it also can protect the law into the lack of evidence to not bring about arrest. And this is some things that people don't understand. And this article was misinforming because that happens all the time. Like the grand jury, the AG can go in there, well, on the side of the prosecutor, whoever goes in front of the grand jury, right? And they can say, okay, well, the public wants this, it's an outcry, this, and they can just play it down. And then next thing you know, you don't have an indictment. So they be like, oh, the grand jury failed to indict. Yeah, because you failed to fight as if you was fighting for the family. You are fighting for the police officer to not be indicted because you do not want these issues pertaining to the police and the black people in America that is being gunned down by them. Okay, so we have all these issues that's going on with in grand juries. Let me tell you guys something, and this is the honest to God truth. For every action is a reaction, and that's including the law as well. For every action is a reaction. For everything that we need done for the public, it doesn't just go both ways. And that's one of the things I was telling you about injustice when I was speaking on that. When you did the question mark commentary, when you see my videos with the question mark, that's what I was explaining. Injustice is not always to get someone free or stop them from. Sometimes it's about making sure that they do go to jail, making sure that people are held accountable for the crimes that they did commit. You know what I mean? Or there's very strong evidence that they did commit these things, and that they have their day in court as well, and that let the evidence present itself, and let these people have their day in court, and we will see. You know what I mean? So it's both ways when we speaking of injustice. It's not just one way. But when I speak on the fight against injustice, when I say I'm dealing injustice or whatever, that's the fight against. And I don't always say the fight against, and people always correct me on it, but why can't we shorten things to not know what we're doing? But when I fight against injustice, it's in the sense of when it comes to certain people, it's to keep them out because I believe that they're innocent, and I don't believe that there's no evidence, and I believe there's a lot of lack of, and so therefore that's injustice. I believe it's injustice to hold somebody pending. I believe it's injustice to hold somebody who doesn't have a prayer. I believe it's injustice to say, well, he may flee or he may intimidate witnesses. Only those are accusations in the charge itself. These are issues that we have and that cannot be ignored, and it's injustice. But when it comes to the cops, they don't have no priors. They intimidate witnesses all day. But they're free. And we're fighting for them to be behind bars. That's injustice in itself. So these are the things that we need to make sure, we know what is meant when we're talking about injustice. Nobody in a home who's asleep should be gunned down by the police and no time. No time whatsoever. Nobody. And people should get that. And they should understand it. You should be safe in your own home. You should not be gunned down by police. So that there is one of the things that we need to discuss more often. It's one of the words that we need to spread and share. So if you want to share, make sure you share this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. It doesn't matter because you viewed it. And make sure you hit the notification bell if you do like it so you will know when I'm uploading another video. Okay? All right? And if you would like to support the channel, do not be a stranger to donate to the Cash App, Spittin' Fire. Okay? It is all appreciated. And if you want to donate to these innocent projects that I contribute to often, then you can donate to MUTINGISBULLYING Cash App. All right? Okay, so make sure, all right, y'all pay attention to this message and spread the word because we need cultural obligation and never, ever, ever, remember, ever, never, ever think at the surface level. This is your girl, Ari Jackson.